Hi, this is Kirk, the bariatric carnivore. Have you ever been caught in one of these situations where your worldview is completely turned upside down, where everything that you know to be true is and you're being told by an institution or an authority figure over you that what you know to be true is not true? It creates what's called ontological shock when you have a complete form of cognitive dissonance in a very strong way, where you've got, here's the facts, here's my reality, this is what I know to be true, and they're telling me something completely different. For instance, during the pandemic, I can't believe that government officials and the media were all telling us that natural immunity no longer was a reality. That blew my mind, that they would actually do that. And it created for a while there this weird tailspin that somehow natural immunity didn't somehow exist. I mean, I've been taught since a small kid that we knew that, we figured out the whole vaccine situation because people would get smallpox and survive it, and they would never get it again. That's how natural immunity works, but somehow it didn't work with this particular virus. Or, they would tell you that the number one symptom that you've got this particular virus is you have no symptoms. That made no sense to me at all. And that's when I started to realize that, dang it, the system is psychopathic. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying that individuals involved in it were psychopaths. Some of them might be, but, frankly, the system itself certainly was. And it was the whole healthcare system, from the media, the government, doctors, the medical system, big pharma, big food, the whole 9 yards. They were all behaving with a complete casual disregard for my health. If the government cared about your health, what should have been the central message going into a major pandemic? Get healthy. Make sure you're getting enough exercise, sleep, eating quality food, and getting some exercise and increasing your amount of vitamin D. How many people heard that message? I didn't. That was the one that I had to take. See, when you reach this moment of ontological chaos, and you are kind of realizing that the systems that you thought were looking after you aren't, you have to make a decision. And here's the way most people handle cognitive dissonance. They say, wow, okay, let's see, they're telling me one thing, I'm thinking and seeing another, and another person's telling me something else. Oh, well, and they throw up their arms and they just say, well, nobody can know. And they never make a decision. They never make a change. And when you realize that and you see that there's problems, you owe it to yourself to figure out what is true and to take action. One of the things that I have learned about getting healthy is this: most people will never get healthy because they never reach a moment of decision. There has to be usually some sort of life-changing event to get them started on the road to health. I mean, they may know in their heart of hearts that, okay, if I keep eating this way, I'm going to have a heart attack and probably die early or something. I may have some sort of problem. But it's not until they have the heart attack, they have the cancer, that they actually start taking action. That's when most people actually start to begin to take actions. I know, because I'm one of those people. I knew that being my size and being as unhealthy as I was, that I was probably going to have a heart attack or a stroke. But frankly, it wasn't until my eye doctor told me that I was having macular degeneration, that I was going to need shots in the back of my eyes or I was going to go blind, that I actually that was kind of my wake-up call, and I realized I needed to start taking action. And all she told me to do was to lose weight. That was actually the wrong advice. What she should have warned me about was tell me that, look, what the problem is that you're just metabolically unhealthy, and it's, it was other problems. But all she told me was to lose weight, so that's what I did, and that's why I had bariatric surgery, was to lose weight. But that didn't solve the problem. See, at the end of the day, I had lost 60, 70 pounds, but I was still on 10 medications. I wasn't healthy. And I'd slowed down the rate of progression of the macular degeneration, but I wasn't solving the problem. It wasn't until I had this really magic moment when I stumbled across a video from Low Carb Down Under, and I listened to Dr. Stephen Phinney, and he explained metabolic health and the importance of a low carb diet. Now I had a true ontological crisis. Here's what this guy is saying, and here's the food pyramid. Here's what the government's been telling me my entire life, that if you want to be healthy, you have to eat lots of carbs, low fat, and yet this guy is telling me, no, that's not true. Okay, now I've got cognitive dissonance. What do you do in that situation? Well, thankfully, I kind of realized that this guy was compelling, and I started studying it for a few months and came to the conclusion that no, low carb was the way to go. That's what I needed to do. And just coming to that realization, though, is not enough. That's one step. The most important step, though, is to start taking action. And my first action, when I realized it and came to the conclusion and was convinced that low carb was the way to go, was to go through my cupboards, throw away all the junk food, and to replace it with healthy food. And even after even though I knew in my heart and in my head that this was the right thing to do, it still was a terrifying thing. And I got so much pushback from friends and family. But keep in mind that, look, your friends and family are the same people that will go out with you to McDonald's, and they'll watch you chow down on 2 quarter pounders with cheese and supersized fries and a supersized Coke, and they won't bat an eye. But as soon as you tell them, hey, I'm not eating vegetables anymore and I'm not eating bread, they freak out. I mean, they completely lose their minds. That's what you're running into. And frankly, take a look at what the majority of people look like nowadays. The majority of Americans are overweight. I'm not fat shaming. I'm just telling you right now, when you look at the statistics, majority of Americans are overweight. In a couple of years, the majority of Americans are going to be obese. We're going to cross that threshold here very soon. And obesity goes from being just a little overweight to suddenly having a real serious medical problem. Morbid obesity is going through the roof. I mean, it was pretty rare that you would go to Walmart and you'd see some really morbidly obese person, 400-600 pounds on one of those little scooters. Now it's commonplace. You see it all the time. And it's only going to get worse. And when you look at the statistics, only a handful a very small percentage of this country are metabolically healthy. Basically, the majority of people are either type 2 diabetic or have all the markers of being a type 2 diabetic. So if you're taking your health advice from the majority of people, realize who you're getting it from. Obese people that are type 2 diabetics who are not healthy. Why are you taking health advice from them? So look, in this fight for your health, you're all alone. You're it. You owe it to yourself to live your best life and to get yourself as healthy as possible. But frankly, you're the only one that can do it. Big food is not working for your best interest as far as making you healthy. They're trying to create hyper-palatable food that gets you addicted, and they cram lots of sugar in it. That's what they want to sell you. But they're not forcing it down your throat. You have to make a decision what you purchase and what you eat. And I'm not saying it's easy. I mean, their food is highly addictive for a reason, because they want to get you hooked on human pet chow. But if you want to make those changes, you have to do it yourself. You've got to make a decision that this is the right thing to do, and this is the best way to do it. Now, to me, the best, what I have come to the conclusion is the low carb, carnivore lifestyle is definitely the way that works for me. I'm not forcing my decision on you, but you owe it to yourself to figure out how to get healthy. because frankly, we are spending as a country nearly $1 trillion every year to take care of type 2 diabetics. They're trying to get a bunch of money to go for drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic and things like that, trying to help people lose weight. And those drugs, you know, there may be some advantages to them, but frankly, they're expensive. I don't think we can afford to put everybody, the majority of Americans, on those drugs because they're obese. And as soon as you quit taking them, you gain the weight back. And to make matters worse, half the weight you lose statistically when you take a drug like Wegovy. Half the weight you lose is going to be lean muscle tissue, which means you're going to now gain back fat and you're going to have half the muscle that you had before. That's the reality. So that's what Big Pharma is pushing. That's what the government's pushing. That's what insurance companies are pushing down your throat. That's what the media is pushing down your throat. But if you want to take responsibility for your health and to get maximally healthy, you're on your own. You've got to figure it out. So take advantage of this moment where there's cognitive dissonance. Realize and have the courage to realize that no, one side or the other has to be telling the truth. Figure it out and start taking action. That's the only way you can get healthy. Because in this fight for your health, you're all alone in this. You're the one who ultimately is responsible for your health because nobody else is looking after you. But thankfully, we can all be alone in this fight together. This is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. I try to put out a new message every single workday, and I greatly appreciate those who like these videos, put comments in it, and subscribe, because that's what helps grow a channel. And we can grow a community, and we can all get healthy together. I will talk to you soon.